This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
What up? No, it is another Tuesday. I'm done slinging the mail. This is Knockouts and 3 Counts. And like I said, we've got quite the guest for you tonight. We've got the man himself, Gringo Loco. How you doing, brother man?
Good, brother. How are you, man? Thanks so much for having me on.
Hey, man, I'm glad we can make this happen, dude. I was telling J-Bone and Corey, you know, they're a little bit newer to the show, but the last time I remember getting to kick it with you at all was when we were at Ooh La La Lucha. So, I mean, definitely one that I've wanted to make happen for a little bit, but now both of these guys have gotten to see some of your stylings, most recently here at Harpo's for GCW. How are you liking doing the stuff with GCW? Because, I mean, we see you everywhere with, you know, everything from AAA to MLW and all that stuff. How do you like GCW in comparison to a lot of the other places you work and stuff?
GCW is the time of my career, man. Time of my life. You know, the locker room is so much like a family. You know, we're on the road every 2 weeks, sometimes every week. Last weekend, it was from one week to the other. You know, we came out of WrestleMania weekend with my show straight into a California loop. So we're just seeing each other all the time. You know, a lot of camaraderie. And I couldn't ask for anything more, man. GCW is definitely where my happiness lies right now.
I could imagine with such a tight ship that, you know, they bring in guys and stuff, but to your point, it's, you know, a lot of the reoccurring talent and stuff. You guys would have to kind of be a tight-knit group to be able to put on the level of shows that you guys are able to do, you know, through GCW.
Yeah, I mean, and aside from that, yeah, everybody's looking out for each other in and out the ring, man. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better, honestly.
I couldn't agree more, dude. So the thing I got to ask with that is when it comes to GCW, you know, you see that they're known a lot of the time for their death matches and stuff. You brought up your show, WrestleMania weekend. Tell me about that. What went into you having the World on Lucha there at WrestleMania weekend? And how did that change what WrestleMania weekend was like for you, being that now not only are you wrestling, you've got control of essentially your own show for GCW?
Yeah, so the original idea kind of sprouted out about a year ago. I noticed that every time we would get a chance or an opportunity on a GCW card with a lucha flavor infused into it, it would get super over with the crowd, and the people would always ask for more. And then we would get more and more opportunities to show what we can do in a bigger fashion on a bigger stage, which kind of then morphed into, hey, you know, could we get like what I called it back then was like, could we get like a lucha corner on GCW shows, you know, in the upcoming future? And it would just be like our little group of, you know, 8 to 10 guys who we would interchange, you know, throughout each show, and we would showcase what everybody can do. Basically what happened was, you know, a year after that idea of pushing onto Brett, he was like, why don't we just do a show at the Collective? And I was like, man, that seems like a perfect opportunity to show the world what I've been trying to show my entire career, which is like Lucha Libre is the shit. Basically, like there's so many talented luchadors out here, man, that are, you know, super close to me and super close to the business as a whole, that they have so much to offer. And now we have a huge platform to showcase their talents. The collective was a perfect opportunity for all that to happen. So yeah, super happy with everything, the way that it turned out. You know, the people are asking for more. They went home happy, and that's all we could ask for, man.
Are we going to see another lucha show like that next year, Mania weekend?
Yeah, I would almost say we don't think we're going to be waiting another year to do it again. We just have to find the right moment to do it. But I don't think I personally don't want to wait an entire year, and I don't think the fans do either. So we're looking into it.
All right.
I like it. Well, J-Bone and I are getting ready to head down to Vegas here in a few weeks, and saw that you're going to be on a couple shows while we're going to be out that way. So we're going to have to come see the stylings of Gringo Loco in person. We'll definitely have to link up while we're down there, man. We've got Extreme Couture on the book while we get down there, and a whole bunch of other shit. So I definitely want to check that out. I was like, hell yeah, perfect timing with you coming on the show and all that stuff.
Absolutely, man. Viva Las Vegas and Viva La Lucha Libre, man. Let's get it.
Vegas gonna be wild, dude. In a lot of aspects, Vegas gonna be a lot of fun, dude. We're gonna do Vegas right.
Hey, dude, you're not kidding. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. We gotta link up with Justin James before he gets in there with Let Me Bang Julian Lane while we're down there. A whole bunch of good shit going down there. But we've talked a little bit about Lucha Libre and stuff. That's one of my biggest questions I wanted to ask with wanting to get this show done for a while is how did you end up going the Lucha Libre route versus your normal standard, American pro wrestler? Like, what was it that made you like attracted to the Lucha Libre style versus what you see with most American guys?
Yeah, so it's deep rooted with my career. It's actually how I started out. It's how I broke in here in Chicago. I would watch WWF Superstars, seeing all the crazy, bigger than life, talents like Psycho Sid, Undertaker, Yokozuna, all these guys. Fell in love with it as a child, man. And then like we got to high school and we started going to a gymnastics place with a blue tumbling floor or whatever. Kind of taught ourselves how to roll and simple things. And then we just started doing stunners and rock bottoms, bro. Like just doing what we saw on TV, man. And then like we started like throwing like small little shows at this place. We would rent it out like at the age of 16 or whatever. And lo and behold, man, the stars aligned, and there was a wrestler that came in that wanted to work on his tumbling or whatever. And he happened to see us little corner with our little mats, and he was like, "Yo, you need to come with us, man, because we have like a gym that I want to show you." And that was the first time I saw a ring, man. It was a Lucha Libre Mexicana gym right here in Chicago. Super discreet, man. Like if you didn't know that place was a lucha, like from the outside, it looks like nothing. Like I would have never found it. Nobody would have ever found this place. And I knew how special it was because as soon as I walked in, man, I never wanted to leave. So, the rest is history, man. I started training, started, learning the basics of basing and 3/4 rolls and just everything else that comes with Lucha Libre. And like I said, I was a luchador before I was an American wrestler. So American came way later in my career when I realized that like I should probably learn that aspect of wrestling too. So yeah, man, like pure authentic luchador right here, man, from the ground up.
That's crazy to hear because normally, a lot of the luchadors, unless they're actually from Mexico and stuff like that, they kind of play the role where they know the moves and stuff like that, but they might not actually have been trained and stuff like that in that method, at least formally initially. And for that to kind of be your deeper roots, that's definitely interesting.
It's cool too because Lucha Libre, it's such a deeper rooted like tradition of wrestling. You know what I mean? So for you to pick that up first, like you said, a lot of guys don't pick that up first. So like,
yeah,
you're kind of going at it at a different aspect. So to have the traditional mindset of like Lucha Libre, man, and then to bring that into American wrestling, like that's something special, dude. That's something that's not really been done like that. So pretty cool.
Yeah, honestly, I think like especially throughout my early years, it definitely, at least in my mind, set me apart from everybody else on the card. And I still think that till this day, like Lucha is definitely a lot more known now, but I was the only Lucha guy with another luchador, and we definitely stood out on the show. Like nobody was doing what we were doing. And I could definitely say to a point, like nobody's doing what I'm doing in the ring now. Like, I definitely bring a different style of ring technique and stuff that I do in the ring. It's not really common. Like I sat and watched one of the GCW shows the other day and just realized that like I am a different like wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying anything bad about anyone, but like I definitely bring something different to the table, and I'm glad that I stand 100%. Out in a way that they continue booking me, and like a lot of other companies see that now, and they're bringing me in for the first time, and it's exciting. It's an exciting time for sure in my career.
Do you know? So that's another question. So you mentioned that Lucha is at the core of who you are as a wrestler. Who was it, Lucha wise, that made Lucha stick out to you?
Well, the original guys that even turned me on, they were called the Brothers. They were like really good bases, and that, I mean, I think like from early on, I realized how important it was to be a base in Lucha Libre. Like you're taking care of these people's lives, like people are confiding in you to make sure they're safe on dives and everything. So at a very, very early age, I realized how important that was. But I mean, obviously, watching Rey Mysterio, Hoovy, Chris Jericho, Malenko, all these guys just, go into a ring and perform these moves that I had never seen before. I wanted to just mimic that at some point in my career, as fluid as they make it look, on Nitro or on WWF television. I was enamored with how fluid everything looked. And it's always been my goal to kind of try to mimic that and make it look as good and as authentic as possible.
Did you have a personal favorite lucha growing up?
Well, I mean, before I got into that lucha gym, it was definitely The Undertaker. Larger than life persona, the entrance, everything about him was cool. I think my first wrestling ever was WrestleMania 12, and like the fact that they were going to have a casket match, like my mind was blown. Like somebody's going to be put in a casket, they're gonna like die. Like this is the coolest sport ever. But when I finally got into the lucha world, I could definitely say that it was the original Mystical. That was just like, man, this guy is not he's not from this planet. Like he's doing these maneuvers I've never seen before. Like how does he make it look, so fast? And so I couldn't believe it. So definitely Mystical comes to mind for sure.
So with you seeing all that stuff and liking lucha, what was you got to tell me, what was Mexico like for you your first time over there, man? Because I mean, when we mentioned a little bit before we went live, we'll talk about our buddy El Rudo de las Chicas, Sam Adonis, in a little bit. But the first time we interviewed him, he was still over in Mexico. So with you being such a big fan of lucha, what was going to Mexico like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I went like right after high school. It was fucking terrifying, man. Like I'm a foreigner, don't know the language, and like I'm looking for this Arena Mexico place. I got this like phone number from Tarzan Boy, who was a huge star, that he happened to give me at an arena here in Chicago. Like I'll be honest with you, man. I didn't leave my hotel for 3 full days. I didn't know if I was going to go outside and be robbed of all of my pants and watch and whatever I had, like at that time it was like the iPod. I was like, man, they're definitely going to steal this. So yeah, I stayed in my hotel room for 3 days, living in fear, saying, what the hell have you done? Like, you don't know anybody here. You only have one piece of paper with a phone number on it that has a million numbers that probably isn't even real. And yeah, I was definitely terrified, man. And I had no idea where to find this Arena Mexico place. Like, the phones back then didn't have GPS. Like, I'm kind of an older dude. So like, I don't even know how it all worked out, but these stars have been aligning my whole career. So it just happened. Like the guy answered the phone. He took me to Arena Mexico, started training. It was like the best training I've ever had in my career, probably up until now. Like it's like the cathedral of Lucha Libre. And I was working with the best talents down there, man. And it was definitely a once in a lifetime experience for sure. It was awesome.
Now, what about once you actually made your performance and made your debut down there? How did the role kind of change going from making your initial debut from training down there, drawing so much inspiration, to now being able to perform in front of these crowds that, have such an immense, like, built up ability, I guess, to judge talent on that level because they're constantly taking in that level of wrestling?
Man, I was so ready. They had a sold-out crowd at Nessa, which is a really kind of like, hard area to run shows in. I'm just talking about the areas, not the best of areas. And like the people are so this show in Nessa every time, and it's just like packed to the gills. The headliner is Mystical versus Warrior, and I guess they just had like a mask versus mask match, and one of them lost, and people were really into it, and I was like semi-main in my debut in Mexico City, and it's just like incredible feeling. I felt more than ready. I had come out and I had this idea to throw tortillas at the crowd, and they got super over as a heel. And like I had known enough Spanish to where I could like cut a promo in Spanish. I sung a song in Spanish. It was a really good experience, man. I knew for sure I was hooked for a lot of my life after that match. Like I was going to stay in this for as long as I could. So it was definitely a good time.
It sounds like it, man. I'm not gonna lie. We mentioned our buddy Sam Adonis. I had never really seen, we'll call it the dark side, heel side of Gringo Loco before you guys did what you guys had going down at Ooh La La Lucha. And let me tell you, for those that weren't there, first of all, now that we're getting close to Cinco de Mayo this year. You know, when they bring Ooh La La Lucha back to Detroit, you need to go because it's a fucking blast of a time. But dude, you guys had everybody in that bitch ready to kill you guys.
Ooh La La.
So
Bro,
what?
let me tell
What
you
do you
something
remember
about
from
Ooh
that?
La La, man. I remember it being as hot, if not hotter, than a Mexico City crowd on a Friday night down there, man. I mean, Sam with his crazy promos and both of us with the visuals of like really, really conveying to the Detroit crowd that night that we hate each and every one of you. And then the crowd just eating every bit of it up, man. Ooh La La was such a great experience, man. They have to bring it back.
The best part about that is like a lot of that crowd isn't even like a wrestling crowd. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. I've been to a couple of those. Like a lot of those people that are coming in there just come down there for like the spectacle of it and like a Cinco de Mayo thing to do. So that's the best part. Like you're not getting people that watch wrestling all the time that are going to just be like, "Oh shit, this is just some wrestling garbage." Or whatever, you know what I mean? Like these people are, most of them probably drunk and just watching this shit. And then let's not forget the cops that Sam had with him, because those motherfuckers didn't help anything for your guys' cause either. Like that was like some Reno 911 type shit in the ring. And dude, it was they were pelting motherfuckers with beer. It was a good time, dude. Like I said, you guys definitely got to come down with me if when Ooh La La Lucha comes back. Shout out to our buddy Movado.
Man, he's the best, and you just can't imagine the amount of heat that we caused. Weren't there live, man. It was an incredible sensation. They were eating it, and then again, we were able to have the honor to share a ring with Ultimo Dragon too that night. It was incredible.
Facts.
You know, that was my one and only time in there with the legend, and yeah, I mean, I would do it in a heartbeat. Like if it was tomorrow, I'd be like, I'd cancel whatever I had going on and go do La La, man.
Definitely a good time. Like I
Pretty
said, shout out to Movado. I told you guys, man, that's one of the ones like Devin and I hit it a couple times, and the last one Devin and I hit before he headed to Texas was that one. So Devin was just with me in Texas for WrestleMania weekend and all that stuff. So now that he's back here in Michigan, if Ooh La La makes its way back, which I've got a sneaking suspicion it will, we'll definitely have to see what's happening with that. Well, J-Bone, with you being the hip-hop guy, bro, I know you had a couple questions yourself, so I will leave that to you, brother, man.
Yeah, man. So we're at GCW. First of all, I love hip-hop music, man. As you can see back here, I got hip-hop stuff all over the place. But I noticed you come out to, was it Drake, right? One of your theme song at GCW?
My last two, yeah. So my entire career has been hip-hop and something that's super bassy. So the last two have been Drake, and before that, I mean, I can go down the line, but it's always been like some hard street shit. Yeah.
So you are a hip hop guy. Yeah, that's what we want to know on the show. We want to know if you're a hip hop guy. How does that play in your persona? Stuff like that, man. So
yeah, absolutely. Like anything that's like definitely obviously catchy during the time that I come out with it. Like, you know, Way Too Sexy when I came out with it was definitely like the song of the time. You know what I'm saying? It's getting a little burnt out. I'm still enjoying it. I'm sure the people are too. But you know, the Look Alive song that I came out before that was kind of hot because, like, I don't know if you guys know, but I had a heart issue a couple years ago where I may or may not have passed away for 5 minutes. So the Look Alive title actually fit in like to my life, and I liked the song, so that's why I ran with that song for like 3 or 4 years until I got burnt out of it. But yeah, man, I've always had like super hip hop bassy tracks, man. I don't know if you're familiar with like Crucial Conflict from here in Chicago. Oh, see, so you know, I had a bunch of 3-6 Mafia, all kind of Little John stuff. Like it's always been the constant in my career. Like I've never really gone outside of that box, man. It's just what I enjoy, you know.
And that shit gets the crowd hype too when you're coming out. I'm like, it's like a party when Gringo Loco comes out.
Yeah, right.
Dude. Look, dude, I'll never forget boxing in Detroit and banging One Hitter Quitter in the fucking gym and shit back in the day. So I fucking remember all that shit.
Sick Mafia, bro. Hell yeah.
Dude, you can't go wrong with 3-6 Mafia, dude. And the fact is, when it's 2022 and they can still pop that shit on, dude, and everybody still gets hyped, like I said, it's a sight to behold.
Absolutely. Right. Sometimes too hype, bro. You ever been to a 3-6 Mafia concert?
No, I haven't. I've been to a Gucci show where
sounds like
shit
a wild
got too hype.
I've been to a 3-6 Mafia concert, dude. It is a wild ass time. I'll tell you that. It is a wild
Yes.
ass time.
So I feel like you can't bring up the story of almost died and then not preface
That's what
with
I was gonna get to
what was
next. Go ahead.
what the hell happened?
Brother, nobody knows, man. I was 30 years old. I'm kind of living a crazy lifestyle, but nothing like, crazy enough to like die. Like I just wouldn't sleep and I would drive from town to town. Like basically what everybody's doing now in GCW, but I don't know, man. I was 30 years old. I had never been in the hospital, not even for a cold, pneumonia, anything, a broken finger. And it was after a Cleveland show, and I had to drive all the way back to Chicago by myself. It was 6.5 hours to barely make that show, and yada yada yada. It was just a long, crazy weekend. And I guess like I made that show, I did the show, and then I guess I was walking up some stairs, and one of my good friends like described it after the fact was like if you like disconnected like a light, from an outlet or whatever, and like all the power just goes out, and I just fell on the stairs, man. And it was like I guess it was a scary moment for everybody involved. I don't remember anything. It was like a big nap to me, but yeah, I woke up to the doctor saying like, "Yo, like you're a miracle to be here." I was like, "Oh hell yeah, for real?" He's like, "No, seriously." He was like, "Yeah, man,
Wow.
like you weren't with us for about 5 minutes." I was like, "Damn, that's pretty nuts." Like I woke up and I thought like I had gotten into a car accident or something. I had no idea what happened, and so now the last couple of years, like, well, every day, really, you wake up and you're like, you don't take anything for granted. You take every
Mhm.
moment, that you can because this is precious. Like it literally happened to like a 30-year-old healthy human being. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't take anything for granted, man. It's my second chance, and just trying to make the best of it.
What did they end up saying the cause of it was? Was it like overrunning yourself or
Yeah.
like
So
what happened?
well, I mean, I'm sure that had something to do with it, but I have to live with this PTSD every day. Like there is no definitive cause on what happened.
Oh
So I
shit.
actually,
Wow.
yeah, dude, I know, man. So
Even
because of
scarier,
that, they
man.
didn't know. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so scary. So, um, one of the things that they like decided to do, like on some free shit, was like, hey, man, we're gonna put a pacemaker in you just in case this happens again, because we don't know what the fuck happened to you. They put one in, man, which is nuts. So like I got my daughter calls it a cuckoo clock in my chest. So if anything ever happens, man, I'm like covered for a second or third chance at life, man. So far so good, man. It's been almost 6 years. Haven't had to use it yet. So
Wow.
yeah, man.
That's wild though.
Crazy.
That's good to hear. You didn't need the backup battery for a
Right,
couple years.
right.
It's
Yeah.
good to hear.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, dude, we've talked about it on the show before. I can relate to the that changing the way you look at things because I had something similar. I don't know if you're an MMA fan of any kind, but that's where the MMA and boxing side of our show comes from. I was training to get ready for a jiu-jitsu tournament. I have Crohn's disease, and so you can get dehydrated really easy. Well, I had been in the middle of a flare-up, but I just thought, whatever, dude, my stomach hurt. It usually goes away in like a week, whatever. And I was cutting weight. So I just figured, whatever, dude, I'll be all right. Well, anyone who knows anything about fighting, when you're cutting weight, it's just a nasty, shitty thing, no matter how you do it. Like it just sucks. And we turned all the heat up at the gym, dude. And I remember like, dude, it felt like somebody was stabbing me from the inside out. And I'm like, fuck, dude, this hurts. I remember I will never forget. I told my coach, I was like, dude, I'm telling you something's wrong. Now, mind you, I grew up with cerebral palsy. So for me to even say anything about being hurt, I wouldn't say anything unless I was hurt. And I remember telling him like, hey, dude, I need to like something's wrong. He's like, don't be a puss. Get back on the mat. I kept training. Go to the hospital that night. And the guy goes, yeah, dude, your appendix might explode. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, that's fucking great. That's
Gotta
fucking
listen to
great.
your body, man.
Dude, you're not shitting.
Listen,
you're not shitting.
Yeah.
I need to take my own advice sometimes, but yeah, you got to listen. To
hey man, you just got your ass out of urgent care, so you didn't follow the advice either.
Bad, dude. I was bad for a minute. Trust me, I was questioning my decisions and everything. I'm like, oh gosh, what did I do, man?
It's funny how that'll do that.
I can say, yeah.
No,
I can say, like, definitely, like the weeks leading up to what happened to me, I was Googling like some weird shit, dude. I was like, yo, can a human like overdose on caffeine? How much lack of sleep you actually like could potentially die or something? I do remember vaguely looking up some weird shit because I was going hard, bro, and like I was always known within my group of friends of like the person that will do a wrestling match and then go straight to work right after and then get up the next morning. It's just like it was just a crazy like just never ending ever. It's just I didn't think sleep was important, but now I realize how important it is. So yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. I remember those days when I was working my midnight shifts is what, I don't know if that's what you were doing as well, but man,
Yeah.
pulling full 24s, trying to do something the next day, go to work the next night, and then sleep,
Exactly.
just crash out after.
Yeah.
Ooh, I done pulled
Taxing,
that far
dude.
too many times, man.
Well,
Taxing on the body, man.
That's a toughie.
Especially as you get older. As you get older, it gets a little more taxing. You know
No.
what I mean? So,
Man,
gotta
if
be
I
careful
compare
out
my
there.
life now to 6 years ago when I was running hard like that, it is a complete 180, bro. If I was hesitant to drink coffee the first couple of years coming out of what happened to me, bro. Like, because I didn't want to,
Mhm.
I thought that was the cause. So like, I was just this dude that like didn't have any caffeine ever in his life. I was just like this good boy, not doing anything. But I've broken out of that a little bit because you get tired, bro. With these flights and everything, you
Mhm.
got to wake up somehow for these matches. But yeah, I got some PTSD for sure, man. But it's getting better, thankfully.
Good. It's
well,
good to hear.
that brings up a question I got. So now that we obviously have established the fact that you're all over the place like a ping pong ball, I mean, I've seen you everywhere from MLW to AAA to GCW and everything in between. So, like, when you go to all these different places, like working on TV with MLW doing what they're doing, or a AAA or a GCW, do you find yourself having to change your style much from place to place to place, depending upon like where you're working?
No, not right now, man. I definitely base what in the ring based on the rivals that are presented to me. So yeah, no, I don't change my style at all. I just look to see who it is, if I know them, if I don't, what do they bring to the table, what do I bring to the table, and how can we mesh that to make the best match of the night, essentially. Yeah, I don't change up my style much for anyone.
I just wonder because, like I said, that when you guys came in for Ooh La La, that was the first time I'd ever seen you heal, and I'm like, oh shit, like all right, this is totally different than what I'm used to seeing, but it was dope, like I said. So I wondered if there was much change, especially with you having a lucha style. Do you find
Oh
yourself
yeah.
not flying as much, or trying to ground the guy more, or that kind of stuff based upon where you're at?
Yeah, you know what's crazy, man? A lot of like I'd say 70, 80% of my career I've been a heel. And then I started doing a couple little flips here and there, and then like all the people turned me babyface, and now they're expecting that every match. So I just kind of ran with that, and I'm minded. I mean, like in Mexico City, I definitely know that like I'm only booked as a heel, obviously, because I'm the American guy and I base. So like that's an obvious way to go. But yeah, I mean, the people over the years just turned me into this like flyer essentially, which I never was before. But now I got to come up with these creative ideas to stay on top of of the Technico mountain. We call them Technicos and Lucha Libres. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying. I think I'm succeeding. Man, people are loving some of the stuff we're coming up with. So yeah, man, it's a wild ride so far.
So I mentioned that we're also MMA based. Are you a fan of the fights? Do you like boxing, MMA, any of the combat sports? Do you mess with it at all?
I mean, I watch it. I've never. A buddy of mine is super into jujitsu. He always invites me, but I never have time. I would love to like mix it up and see, if I were to like that or not. I know there's a
Dude, you
lot
would
of
do
technique
great.
involved. Yeah, I know there's a lot of technique involved. That like once I get my claws into something, I'm always going to do it 10 out of 10. So yeah, I'm kind of scared to try it because what if I leave wrestling? I'll just get into that like completely immerse myself into another world. But I'm not opposed to it. I just need to find the right opportunity to do it.
I think you'd be great at it, especially with all the stuff you're able to do with the lucha stuff, because I've got a purple belt myself. And if my ass can do it, having CP and all that stuff, there's no reason that you can't be over here throwing triangles, arm bars, and all the deal.
All right.
So I definitely would say it would be dope and a cool thing for you to add to the repertoire and all that good stuff.
I actually like this idea, man. I'm going to take you up on that.
Hey man, I'm just saying, I'm coming out there to Vegas. I'm gonna be doing my thing over there at Extreme Couture while we're over there and linking up with a couple of our guests. So I'm just saying.
I'll be recording, so if you want to throw Kyle in a
Okay.
triangle choke or
Okay.
something.
Yeah,
If you want to throw him in a triangle choke or something, I'll record.
You see this shit? This motherfucker. I bring him on the show, and you're serving me up as bait.
I'll tell
you
you,
see
we're
this
gonna
shit?
we're doing Vegas the right way, man. We're gonna get you backpack.
That's-
Yeah,
margaritas.
we're doing Vegas the right
We're
way.
gonna get you
Throw
throwing
his
some-
ass in a
We're gonna
triangle
get you
so
throwing
that you
some
can
triangle
come back with the
chokeholds,
story.
man. We're gonna do Vegas the right way.
Hell yeah, dude. What the fuck? Hey, man, I already signed myself up to get it in with our buddy and past guest of the show, Gil Gradado. You know, he was already doing his thing, helping Mox get his ass in shape and fighting over there for PFL and all that good stuff. So shout out to Gil. Gil's already going to be trying to kick my ass, and I'm going to be trying to get a little bit of work in with Justin James before he gets in there with Julian Let Me Bang Lane. So, like I said, all the more reason that if you guys are new here, make sure you hit that motherfucking subscribe button. Because, like I said, you never know what you're going to see. And we're staying at Circus, so we're going to have to go ride the roller coaster on top of that bitch when we get there. So you never know. Like I said, hit that subscribe button. And thank God everything's paid off. Shout out to our sponsors, G3 Payroll and Tax. Like I said, if you haven't checked them out, check out the link in the sponsor and all that good shit. So now that I got that shit out of the way, something that we always ask everybody when we bring them on is we've got this segment, we call it Locker Room Etiquette. Now, we've had everybody on there from Josh Briggs from NXT to, Sam's been on there and everybody else. We've had everything from wash your balls, keep your baby mama out of the locker room, bring your own wrist tape, bring your own squirt bottle, don't get too comfortable was the one Silas Young used. Ninja Mac, who was just on with us, fellow GCW guy, said don't be too proud to get your ass in the ring and train. If you had any pet peeves or anything that pissed you off or annoyed you or any advice you had for somebody coming into the wrestling world, what would it be?
Oh, somebody new, huh? To definitely not
Could be
doing a locker
either
room
or.
was the
Pet
question?
peeve, somebody new, whatever you want.
Oh man, pet peeves, bro. Everybody is always asking for scissors, man. Everybody's always asking for tape, like you said. The water bottle spray thing is always a big thing. Just come prepared, man. Like if you know that you're gonna need X, Y, and Z, make sure that you get it in your bag or you stop at the store before you get to the arena. That way you don't have to bother me, you don't have to bother everybody else that doesn't want to give you all their stuff. You just come prepared, man. It's a wrestling show. You've known about the date for months in advance. Just have everything ready. Be a professional. It's professional wrestling. You want to be the best that you can be, so come prepared with all the stuff that you need for your show. You know what I mean? Like,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, good. I was going to
No, go
transition
ahead,
anyway. I was going to say, you talk about technique work and trying to stay prepared and stuff. That kind of boiled right into my next question. You say your technique in lucha. What do you rely more on creativity to come up with these, next moves, or do you kind of do more research based and then tweak it from there to apply it to your style?
Good question.
well, I think it's a blend of both, man. I definitely do research on what other past wrestlers have done, and then I kind of tweak it and make my own, man. Like I still got a lot of stuff on the back burner that I haven't hit and I want to hit very soon. But you always got to have like a couple jokers in your pocket for the people, especially for bigger shows too, that that are cooking, that you have in your pocket that are done deals, and you got to know when to use them. So always innovate, always try to stay ahead of the game. This younger generation coming up now are just doing everything, and they're trying everything, and sometimes they hit it, sometimes they don't. But the fact that they're like, willing to kill themselves, essentially jumping off these balconies, and it's just insane. Some of the stuff I'm seeing. You got to kind of stay with the times, man. It's hard, They're hungrier than ever. They realize that wrestling is a really cool sport, and they're trying to like get their name out there, man. So I don't know. I don't know how I do it. I just, it goes back to when I was a child playing with the action figures of like, oh, what if we did this? I just do it in my brain now. Like, that seems like a cool move. Maybe we should try that. So the name of the game right now is definitely innovation, man, and staying ahead of it. I think, and I think we're doing a lot of it in GCW, thankfully. So happy to be a part of it, man.
So with you liking GCW and the direction they're going, a lot of the stuff that they're most known for obviously is a lot of their deathmatch stuff. Like, do you see yourself getting more ingratiated with that stuff, or do you see yourself sticking more straight lucha too?
I think it just depends. Like, I could definitely see myself doing both. I'm sure you guys saw the match with Psycho Clown in Dallas. I knew going into that match that I have this nuttier side to me with getting crazy and biting foreheads and all this, but I had like tucked that person away 10 or 12 years ago. Once I left Mexico City, I was like, it's not needed. It's not really me. But I know that he's in there, the crazy guy. And, jumping off of like field goal posts and, just getting really nutty in a match. And I knew that, he's a big star in Mexico and this was a big opportunity, all that going into that. I could see myself maybe dabbling in a little deathmatch stuff. I don't see why not. There's actually an idea on the table in GCW now, which may or may not be announced in the coming weeks that I think will be very interesting
Yeah.
once it's announced to see people's reactions to it. So, yeah, I mean, there's stuff in the works, man. We just have to wait and see.
Hey man, I like it. It's something different. It'll be out the way, and seeing you in a deathmatch setting would be definitely different than
Yeah, I was about to be
what
pretty
we're used
unique.
to, man.
Pretty unique. You're bringing lucha libre style to the deathmatch stuff, man. That'd be some unique shit right there.
Yeah,
There's a
it's
lot of
wild.
guys out there too. I think could do that. That's what I like about GCW. It seems like they're very open to the lucha style. Mix it in with the deathmatch stuff.
Look, dude,
There's so
if
many
he
guys
can mix
out
it
there
up
like
with
that.
Psycho Clown, which
Ugh.
I saw Psycho Clown mix it up with Sam when we were in Dallas earlier last year when
Oh,
we
yeah.
got caught there when the only time I've ever fucking seen snow in Dallas, and my flight I literally sat on the plane for an hour before we left because we were at we went out there for Pele Pro, and they destroyed the fucking brewery out there, and oh my god. So if you're able to mix it up with a guy like Psycho Clown like that, which I did see the match in Dallas, because like I said, WrestleMania week was insane. Like I said, then it looks cool to me. What was Mania week like for you, man? Like, you had your show and you had all that stuff, but like how many shows you end up working that weekend?
It was 8 shows in total, man. Pretty crazy weekend. I went into it saying, "Oh, I got this, man. No problem. I've been preparing my whole career for this." But wow, 4 matches in one day at my age. I don't think I'm going to be doing that again. It was crazy. And then I grabbed another one that day because Bandito wasn't feeling too well. I was like, "Can you go take this date?" And I just had my heart so set on going to my hotel room and like laying down for a couple hours and me just doing everything 10 out of 10, always just, going full blown fucking gas pedal. I'm like, not no problem. So I had to go straight to that one, to my last booking of the night. There was no rest. It was just, I mean, you know, it's what I've always wanted. Like, I've always wanted the 8 or 9 matches, right? I've never had that before, but when you're actually in it and doing it and you're on that, after that third match going to the fourth in one
Yeah.
day, yeah, you're feeling some type of way, like maybe I shouldn't be doing this to my body at this age. Like that's what I kept saying to myself. Like this is insane, dude. But then you got to think like you got to strike when the iron's hot, man. Like if this is your
Yeah.
moment, what are you going to go home and sleep when you have one more booking waiting for you and you're billed as like whatever, like a talent. They made the graphic for you or whatever. Like you have to go. I felt like I was in the situation where like if you don't do it now, like when are you going to do it? So it was a fantastic weekend. That's how I can sum it up. The cherry on the top was obviously my show coming together and having it be the success that it was. I think overall, it was my year for sure. It felt great.
I mean, I can't argue that. I mean, we've seen you everywhere. I mean, I couldn't agree more. Like that for like our show's been around about 6 years at this point. That's how we've made most of the connections we've made, whether it's wrestling, MMA, boxing, whatever. I mean, just in 2021, I mean, we were in Jacksonville. I was in Jacksonville, Vegas. The only one I didn't go to was WrestleMania, and I was supposed to be at all the GCW shows last Mania weekend, except I had COVID scare. I was supposed to be out there with Mega Ran when he was DJing for the Culture show and shit. So shout out Mega Ran. We're gonna be linking up with him in Vegas for Double or Nothing as well. So we'll definitely have to all link up out there. But like I said, man, I couldn't agree more. Like, I feel like that hustler attitude is really how you're getting out, how you get out there, how wrestlers get out there, how we got to get out there with doing what we're doing. So it's, I mean, hey man, like you said, strike while the iron's hot, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, whichever analogy you want to use, man. It's like, if you ain't there, you hear the old analogy, it's like 95% of it's showing up. So, like I said,
dude,
hey,
you mentioned the word hustler, man. Like, I don't mean to cut you off. I got to tell you this story.
No, you're straight,
quick, man. The word
straight.
The word hustler to me, like, is definitely deep rooted in my entire life. Like, when I was a very young child, I used to go to a suburb with my best friend where she lived at like this little town, and I went to this store, bro, and I bought like a box of the little Chick-Lays that come with the 4 in the little pack. A weekend, I was able, at a young age, I was able to figure out how much profit I could make if I just walked around the streets, bro, selling them at 25 cents each, which was 4 for $1, obviously, right? And you have that many in a pack. I would sell 3 packs in a weekend, bro. I was clearing like $150 profit a weekend at like 9 years old, bro. So like, I've been on this shit. I've never told that story to anyone, dude. Like, I have been on
I
this
love
shit
that shit
forever. I got one more for you. You know how, like,
Please do.
in high school, you know, people would they would have like you know, like little chocolates, they call it like a fundraiser for the uniforms or whatever, right? I don't come from a very wealthy background, dude. My parents were poor, man, barely ever there, blah blah blah. You know the story. Yeah, everybody has one, right? But like, I saw that and I was like, yo, they're making a fundraiser for their uniforms. I need to make a fundraiser for my life, dog. And I started to sell candy, bro, on the corner of like the busiest hallway on the 4th floor. I'll never forget it. And like, I was turning profits like you had no idea, bro. I had deals on Fridays, dog, 2 for 1, bro. I've been on this shit my entire life, dog. So like, again, I'm tying it all back into that 3rd booking going into the 4th. It's like, if you're not going to do it now, like, what have you been working towards your whole career? So just get it done. You know what I mean? Hustler is my middle name. It really is, dude. It's been part of me. It's part of my soul, honestly. I've been just making it work this whole time. So you guys got some really good scoops on those 2 stories right there about my life.
Hey, I love it, dude. See, and that's why, like I say, I always tell people when because we always get the question, like, what's the vibe like on your show? I was like, dude, I try to keep these like we're shooting the shit, because that's when you always get, you know, the best stuff out of it, dude, because you just made me think of a hell of a story that Corey will be able to relate with. Because, see, that's the thing. Corey's newer to the show, but Corey and I go back to when we was like 10, 11 years old. I'll never forget.
Too long, put it that way.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Make us both look old, motherfucker. But with that being said, dude, I'll never forget. So with my dad just passing away at the beginning of pandemic, you made me think of some shit with my sister. You talk about smart and a hustler. Now, it's kind of fucked up when you think about it, but it's not so bad when you consider it was only quarters we're talking about. But my dad, there's an 81 Capri that's still sitting in my garage right now. My dad used to take those big old Absopure bottles, right? And he would fill them up with quarters. That's how he would pay, how he'd pay for the shit. And so my sister was maybe 11, 12, middle school age. And so she got smart she could sell quarters back to my dad, and he would give her cash, right? Because he wanted quarters for the quarter jar. She got smart and started taking the quarters out the quarter jar and was making money off of selling them bitches back. Selling them bitches back in a big loop, and she'd have never got caught. But this is some kid shit for you, man. She'd have never got caught, except she gave some of the quarters to her friend, and her friend went and got an electric scooter, and her mom's like, how the fuck did you get the money for an electric scooter? I was like, you dumbass, you went and gave the money away, you'd have never got caught.
Bro, I came home. Okay, let me tell you, I came home with a Chevy Blazer in high school. My mom was like, yo, what is this? And I was like, listen, man, I'm out here making money. She couldn't believe it.
Stay hustling out there, man. You gotta stay hustling.
Hey, man, he's going to have to take them 1099s and G3 payroll and tax, man. Kathy out here with them twisted tumblers, man, hustling out here. Got us together with them twisted tumblers, man. If you don't got yours, man, we got to get you a Gringo Loco twisted tumbler, man. She got us together with the Yeti cups, dude. Put anything you want in the damn thing.
I know
But
about Yeti, man. Absolutely.
yeah, dude, Yetis are like the
No.
shit. They're the best for when you go to the gym. They're the best if you just walking around, keep your shit cold. Especially if it don't matter. You pre-game and whatever you're doing, you're all right. But we've been talking this whole time, and I managed to almost let you get out of here without talking. You know, like I said, I mentioned before we went live the last time Sam and I talked here on the show, he was still doing his thing, slinging packages like me, except for Amazon. So, Gringo Loco's luchador by night, but what's the day gig, bro? What are you doing these days, man?
So I am a part owner of a flower shop here in Chicago. I am very busy with that. It's every afternoon. It's a chaotic life, but I love it. And again, like I'm very entrepreneurial in a lot of senses, man. I have like a lot of eggs in a lot of different baskets. There was one guy I talked to when I was younger, and he told me that exact thing. Because he was doing well. He always had like a clean Benz outside of the business that I was working for, and I was like, how can I do that? Because I was young and I didn't know. He was like, you never want to have your eggs all in one basket. So I took that really, throughout my entire life, and I have like I don't know, jobs here and there. Like I got a couple Airbnbs that I manage here in Chicago. I actually, funny that you mentioned that Sam does Amazon. I do Amazon when there's like downtime because I just can't sit in the house all day and watch TV. Yeah, and I mean, like, it's just, everything seems to work out. Wrestling's on fire now, so I don't have to work as much. But it's just my hands in a lot of different things, man. It always seems to connect week in and week out. So it keeps me pretty busy out here, man.
Hey, I had to ask because, man, it's funny. I get people all the time, especially with us traveling and stuff for the show. They're like, dude, like that's dope. That's what you do. I was like, that's not what I do for a full-time job. I'm still working full-time at the post office, fucking slaving away, slinging your mail, hearing people bitch about why their mail didn't get there. It's a good time all in the hood, but my check didn't bounce, so we're all good. All the 5-star.
Yeah, I went for a little while there, man. It was I was doing Uber, and I had the great idea of like going to a WWE live event, and then I was like, oh, I could take people from the arena all the way back to the city and make a bunch of money. Well, this was when Uber Pool was a thing, when 3 people get into your car and they're all going the same way. I'm sure you guys know about that, right?
Yeah.
I knew that I had to stop doing Uber at that point because all 3 separate customers recognized who the fuck I was. I had to stop.
Oh no shit!
I couldn't. I think it was after like something like an Extreme Rules pay-per-view, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna make a little extra money. They were like, Are you? And I was like, oh shit, I can't do this anymore. So that was the end of that.
They better have at least left a fat tip, right? Appreciate the work, leave some money,
Funny,
better to be known though.
Funny detail to that story was I had my merch in the back trunk, so I gave them all 8x10s and a pin, bro. It was wild.
Nice.
Hell yeah! Thanks for riding with Gringo. Let me hook you up right quick.
That'd be a hell of an Uber ride, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Last question and the best question. How many times do you got to explain what Gringo? How many times do you get people asking what Gringo Loco means, or you have to have somebody explain it?
Well, here's the thing. So people that don't know about wrestling, they always laugh. They think like Gringo Loco, haha, that's funny, but like it's all serious in my life. Like it's how I made my entire career.
Agree.
Now, I will say that I get the same question over and over again. It's like, oh, what is a base god? That's more of the question that I get. The Gringo Loco thing isn't really needed to be explained to a wrestling fan. It's a lucha libre thing, whatever. But so the base god thing is always a question.
You're a Lil B fan.
For what it is. So my idea was that when it was DJC and I were sitting on a couch and we were watching our favorite bases doing their thing, and that they've never dropped anyone. And they're always taking care of people's lives, right? And I was like, man, he's like a god of bass. And I was like, I want to be a bass god one day. And he was like, dude, have you ever dropped anybody? And I was like, no, I don't think so. He's like, dude, you're a bass god. You got to run with that. And that's where that name came from. So there's a lot of bass gods in the world. I'm not the only one. I just kind of ran with the idea. Now, there's another idea on the table. Potentially, I could change it to BASS because I'm a huge bass head anyway for music. And just kind of slightly tweaking it and changing one letter and seeing if anybody notices. And then the answer would be so much easier, like I'm the king of bass at that point. and I come out to bassy music,
Right.
and all my moves are based on like bass drop and all this shit. So maybe I'll just do that. It is on the table. It's kind of a big thing, a big change in my career or whatever. We'll see what happens, man. I might just keep it the way it is. So not sure yet.
So J-Bone, I know you're a hip hop head. That just lets out that it was because of Lil B.
I like the
I do.
idea, though,
I
right?
get that. I get that a lot on Twitter, man, about the comparison that I got it from him and yada yada. But no, it was nothing
Yeah.
of the sort. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I saw it, I was like, I wonder if that's got anything to do with it, because I remember, shit, we was in high school or just getting out of high school when he was doing his thing, and dude, it was funny as shit because I remember like, what the fuck? I don't see what people see in this dude, but he got hot for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Shit, man. Well, I appreciate the time. I appreciate making the time after the day job and all that good stuff. And we definitely got to link up when we get down to Vegas, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Please hit me up in the DMs and let me know where you're at so we can link up.
Hell yeah, we'll definitely make it happen. We're already looking forward to linking up with the homie Ryan McKinnell and all them while we're down there. And like I said, Mega Ran will be joining us while we're down there. So like I said, man, the invite's open. I'm getting down over there at Extreme Couture. Fucking we'll have to teach you some of them triangles right quick.
Oh boy, I'll be recording.
I'm ready. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Let's get it. I want to do a triangle hold. I want to learn the leg locks and all that shit, man. I'm ready, bro.
Hell yeah, let's get it. Like I said, Gil, we're coming to Extreme Couture. Like I said, if you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And Gringo, before we get out of here, let them know where they can find you on all the socials and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, Twitter is Gringo Loco OG because I'm old as shit, and then Instagram is I am Base God with underscores under the word. So I am Base God, BASEGOD. So appreciate you guys having me on, man. The pleasure's all mine.
Thanks for your time.
Hey man, I'm glad we could make it happen.
Time, man.
Until the next time and in the in-between time. Peace.